Imagine discovering one of humanity's oldest habits completely by accident. Not farming, not writing, not even cooking sui. Picture a cold night tens of thousands of years ago. A small group of humans sits around a crackling fire, surrounded by darkness. Sui. The flames are their only protection against predators lurking beyond the light. Smoke drifts through the air, stinging their eyes and filling their lungs. Sui. Then something unexpected happens. A plant caught in the fire releases chemicals that change the way someone feels. Their thoughts become lighter. Their mood shifts. Sui. The experience is strange, powerful, and impossible to ignore. Without realizing it, they may have stumbled onto a behavior that would survive for thousands of generations. Sui. Today, smoking is often associated with cigarettes, tobacco companies, and modern health warnings. But the story goes much deeper than that. Sui. Long before factories, governments, or even cities existed, humans were already experimenting with smoke. The question is not when tobacco was invented, sui. The real question is far more fascinating. Why did people start inhaling smoke in the first place? What made ancient humans intentionally breathe something that most animals instinctively avoid, sui? The answer takes us back to a time before recorded history, before civilization, and possibly before our own species even existed. Sui. It is a story involving fire, survival, ritual, medicine, altered states of consciousness, and one of the most mysterious drives in human nature. Sui. Because the evidence suggests that the urge to change our mental state may be almost as old as humanity itself. Sui. And once you see the clues scattered across archaeology, anthropology, and ancient history, you'll realize that smoking wasn't simply invented one day, it evolved alongside us, sui, growing out of experiences so ancient that their true origins may never be fully known. Sui. The discovery didn't happen in a laboratory. There were no scientists taking notes. No one understood chemistry, biology, or neuroscience. Sui. Yet somehow, through observation alone, ancient humans began noticing patterns. Certain plants produced ordinary smoke. Others produced something completely different. Sui. One fire simply provided warmth. Another created unusual dreams, strange sensations, or a feeling of connection that was difficult to explain. Sui. Over countless generations, people began remembering which plants caused which effects. Knowledge spread the only way it could in a world without books. Sui. It traveled through stories, demonstrations, and traditions passed from one person to another beside the glow of a fire. Sui. To understand how smoking may have started, we first need to understand humanity's relationship with fire itself. Fire wasn't just a tool, it transformed everything. Sui. Before fire, darkness belonged to predators. After fire, humans could push back the night. Sui. Before fire, food was limited by what could be safely eaten raw. After fire, entire new sources of nutrition became available. Sui. Fire extended the day, created gathering places, and brought people together in ways no other invention ever had. Sui. Archaeological discoveries suggest that controlled fire was being used hundreds of thousands of years before modern civilization appeared. Sui. Every evening, small groups gathered around flames for warmth, protection, and food, and every evening they inhaled smoke. It wasn't optional. Smoke was simply part of life. Su. The air around a campfire carried particles from wood, leaves, grasses, and whatever else happened to be burning. Humans breathed it in day after day, generation after generation. Sui. Now imagine what happens when a plant containing naturally active compounds finds its way into those flames. Nobody plans an experiment. Nobody expects a result. Sui. Yet someone notices a change. Maybe their thoughts feel clearer. Maybe their body relaxes. Maybe colors seem more vivid. Sui. Maybe they feel unusually connected to the people around them. Whatever the experience was, it would have stood out in a world where every unusual sensation carried meaning. Sui. The human brain is exceptionally good at recognizing patterns. It helped our ancestors find food, avoid danger, and survive harsh environments. Sui. The same pattern recognition ability would have allowed them to connect cause and effect. If a particular plant produced a memorable experience once, someone would eventually wonder whether it could happen again. That simple curiosity may have changed human history. Sui. This is where smoking stops being accidental and starts becoming intentional. At some point, someone deliberately placed a plant into a fire because they wanted to recreate an earlier experience. Sui. That moment represents one of the most important shifts in human behavior. It transforms smoke from an unavoidable byproduct of fire into something people actively sought out. Sui. What's remarkable is that this pattern appears almost everywhere humans settled. Across continents separated by oceans and thousands of years of history, people independently discovered methods of inhaling smoke from various plants. Sui. They lived in different climates, they spoke different languages, they developed different cultures, yet they arrived at remarkably similar practices. That kind of convergence usually suggests something fundamental about human nature. Sui. Many anthropologists believe that humans possess a deep-rooted drive to explore altered states of consciousness. We often think of this as a modern phenomenon, but evidence suggests otherwise. Suo. Throughout history, societies have searched for experiences that shift perception. Some used fermented drinks, others used medicinal plants, some practiced prolonged fasting, intense dancing, or meditation. Sui. The reason may be connected to the way our brains evolved. Human intelligence isn't just about solving problems, it's also about imagination. We dream, tell stories, create myths, and search for meaning beyond immediate survival. Sui. Altered states may have amplified these tendencies, making them feel important, sacred, or transformative. In many ancient cultures, unusual mental experiences were interpreted as messages, visions, or connections to forces beyond ordinary life. Sui. As a result, smoke became more than smoke. It became part of ritual, it became part of ceremony, it became part of the invisible bridge between the known world and the mysterious one that existed beyond it. Sui. Thousands of years before modern religions emerged, early spiritual traditions were already using smoke in symbolic ways. Rising smoke seemed alive. It moved upward toward the sky. Sui. To ancient observers, it appeared to carry prayers, thoughts, and intentions into realms they could not see. The symbolism was powerful and nearly universal. Sui. Across different cultures, smoke was used during births, funerals, healing ceremonies, and rites of passage. It marked important moments in people's lives. Sui. Entire communities gathered around shared rituals involving fire and smoke. These ceremonies reinforced social bonds, strengthened group identity, and created shared experiences that helped communities survive. Sui. Modern research has revealed something fascinating about collective rituals. When people participate in synchronized activities together, their sense of trust and belonging increases. Sui. Imagine a group gathered in a confined space, illuminated only by flickering firelight. Stories are being told. Drums echo through the darkness. Smoke fills the air. Everyone shares the same atmosphere, the same sensory experience, and the same emotional moment. Sui. As centuries passed, smoking practices became increasingly sophisticated. People learned which plants worked best. They developed specialized tools, containers, and methods. Sui. Some cultures created elaborate ceremonies around smoke. Others integrated it into medicine. Some viewed it as a sacred gift, while others considered it a practical treatment for physical ailments. B. Ancient healers often believed that smoke could carry the properties of medicinal plants directly into the body. While their understanding of biology was limited, the basic idea wasn't entirely wrong. Sui. Modern medicine still uses inhalation as a delivery method because substances entering through the lungs can act quickly. The ancient approach lacked modern precision, but reflected an intuitive understanding. Sui. The more archaeologists investigate ancient societies, the more evidence they uncover suggesting that smoking and inhalation practices were widespread long before written history documented them. Sui. The challenge is that smoke leaves few traces. Fires disappear, plants decay, wooden tools rot. Entire traditions can vanish without leaving behind obvious physical evidence. That means the archaeological record likely captures only a fraction of the true story. For every pipe, brazier, or preserved seed discovered by researchers, countless others have been lost to time. Su. Because if intentional smoking predates agriculture, cities, and written language, then it belongs to a category of behaviors older than civilization itself. Sui. It becomes part of the long list of practices that emerged directly from humanity's earliest attempts to understand the world. Sui. Somewhere in the distant past, beneath a sky untouched by city lights, a human being sat beside a fire and noticed something extraordinary. The smoke made them feel different, and that simple observation may have sparked one of humanity's oldest and most enduring traditions. Sui.